So I just wanted to share my opinion of this Tac-Life electric spray gun. At first I had hesitation about how powerful the spray would be, but I actually was pleasantly surprised. This system has the motor and blower built into the gun itself, so what you see is pretty much all you need, and it does plug into a standard outlet. And originally I thought to get one to connect to an air compressor, but then you have to carry the compressor around, so this is really good for small jobs. I'll go ahead and cover a few things that you get. You get a couple nozzles here and some cleaning tools, and then of course the gun itself. The canister you can unscrew, as well as the cap to it. With this gun I did spend a lot of time practicing with water because there's so many adjustments you can do that I just wanted to waste water rather than paint before I get my adjustments correct. So you have your trigger adjustment there, your nozzle pattern, whether you want to spray thin or a wide pattern, and then you can do the adjustments at the nozzle itself. So there's a lot of options that you can do, and I felt it was best just to practice with water at first, and you'll see that coming up here in a minute. There's one tool in particular that you'll definitely need to use because you can't throw any paint or varnish in here and expect it to operate the same, so you need to have an idea of what you're putting in here and whether it needs to be thinned or not. The recommendation in the book is that things that don't need to be thinned are things like clear and transparent stains and sealers, oil-based primers, and some varnishes, as well as some polyurethanes. The tricky one is water-based stains and latex paints, because they will need to be thinned, and on some latex paints it may be thin too much past the recommendation of the paint, so you might want to check and make sure the latex paint is able to be used before you spend a lot of money buying your paint and expecting to be able to use this with it. So the tool you'll need for that is this cup here, and it's pretty much a run-out cup is I guess what it's called, but you'll want to put your material in here, and the idea is to get a nice steady stream and for the cup to empty in 70 seconds or less. If your material doesn't empty in that time limit, then that means you need to thin it. So if it's a water-based paint, you'll want to thin it with water, and if it's an oil-based, you'll want to thin it with mineral spirits. But this is kind of your tool to tell you what you need to do and whether it's going to work in that spray gun. So always check this, make sure that it runs out in 70 seconds or less, and you should be fine. If it's greater than that, make sure you thin it appropriately, and keep testing until it's ready to put in the gun. And then on a final note, don't use any kind of textured paints in this gun because it'll probably clog up. And of course, after you're finished, make sure to run some water through it and clean out those nozzles, because the moment you forget to clean that out, it's going to clog up and it's just going to make your life a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So I'll go and show you what it's like testing this with water so you can get an idea of the spray pattern, and hopefully it helps. Thanks for watching. So I've been out here adjusting the nozzle and practicing with water before I actually start wasting paint. But I kind of wanted to show you what that looks like and what the machine sounds like. So you can kind of see it's put a nice even coat of water on the cardboard. But I think it's better to kind of practice with that. You have to take into account the viscosity of the paint that you'll be working with, but at least using water you can kind of get an idea of the nozzle pattern that you're going to spray, and make minor adjustments before you start using your own paint. But hopefully that gives you a better idea of how to use it.